Hey everybody, we're going to cover some stuff today that's pretty exciting. We're going to talk about an ETF update with an XRP ETF. Also, did you know there's thousands and thousands of XRP that are going into lockup? We want to cover that because anytime we reduce the supply, we know what that means, right? And then also, there's been a lot of whale activity. We're going to discuss that in today's video.
So first thing we're going to bring up is what you're going to see on your screen from USA Today, believe it or not. 1 billion XRP in 48 hours. Whales buying the dip. Are they? That's the real question. As we get further into this, you will see some key highlights that were posted literally today. Yes, the 11th of January, 2025. And as you see right here, according to sentiment data spotted by crypto analyst Ali Martinez, whales have bought around 1 billion XRP, which amounts to over $2 billion worth. That's that's not too shabby to say the least.
That's
And of
all.
course, yeah, it is. And of course, he brings up some of this. You guys are more welcome to get into more of the technical side of things. But where the case be, despite market volatility, the health of the XRP network remains strong, as evidenced by the steady growth in the wallet count, critical indicator of adoption and, of course, user interest. As we get further into it, I think this is one of the main highlights. Sentiment's latest data reveals that XRP wallets have in fact increased by 58,000 since the start of the new year, marking a 1% growth. This positions XRP as one of the top performing cryptocurrencies in terms of adoption based on the number of unique wallet holders. We're going to take a pause there for just a brief bit and, if anything, get Will's takeaway, because it's like this. The way I look at it is 58,000, well, that's not billions yet, right? We want millions, then hopefully billions. But whatever the case be, it is a lockup because, like you pointed out before in the past, Will, every single wallet will have at least what, one
At least one, yeah.
on the lockup. One of what? So let's get your key takeaway about that, and we'll get more into this.
Yeah, it locks up one XRP. Also, most small holders that are going to trade, they leave it on the exchange. They don't put it in a wallet and then send it to an exchange to trade. So this is 58,000, in my opinion. This is a greater number of people who are going to hold it rather than people who are going to trade it. And that indication is awesome because that's a hope and a belief in tomorrow's rising price of XRP. So that puts a greater chance that these wallets will hold those tokens, which, as you know, means that it will cause an easier rise in the price of XRP because those people will be holding and not selling like traders. So not that kind of a trader. You know what I mean? Trading XRP. You're not a trader if you buy and sell XRP. Yeah, but you are a coin trader, not a opposition trader of the XRP army. Anyway, so that's what that says to me. I'm glad to see 58,000 wallets that are going to be probably the majority holders of XRP. I think that's positive news.
Absolutely is positive news. And with that said, we're going to also give you some other updates to compare this to. We're going to talk about institutional holders as well. But just looking at this briefly on your screen in regards to the data that was collected from Sentiment, as 2025 has kicked off with roller coaster prices for crypto top assets, the amount of holders have fluctuated wildly since the new year. Well, here's the comparison. BTC added 102,000 plus wallets, Ethereum 6,000, or excuse me, 645,000, and of course there's XRP with plus 58,000, and even Cardano, honorable mention. Now, as we get further into it, you guys are more welcome to take a look at his specific charts and so on if you choose to do so. It's there for your reference. But nonetheless, this was originally from January 9th, so it's still pretty recent, but it's this part. The rise in wallet numbers suggests that users and investors are anticipating future network expansion, basically undeterred by short-term price fluctuations. As we get further
Amen.
into it, yeah, it's good stuff. XRP chart is showing signs of forming what is referred to as a pennant. It's a pattern set up characterized by rapid price movements. We've seen a lot of new volume coming into Ripple XRP, but I like this part also. It talks about the potential breakouts. And, while there's consolidation, you got to keep in mind independent people point us out who specialize in chart activity. We don't, and that's okay. But if the breakout occurs, XRP could target price lows 100% higher than its current value. And for me personally, wow, that's not too bad. And then we also get into this other part where if resistance at 250 remains as a critical threshold on the downside support levels at 220 and then 200 or $2, they're key to watch. Failure to hold 220 might prompt a retest of lower levels, while a breakout above 250 could ignite renewed bullish momentum. So for me, I look at it like this. I think the bottom line is when it comes to this, and we don't do a lot of focus on specific, resistance and whatnot. But all right, let's say it did pull way, way far back. Are you kidding me? If November, was it November 4th or 5th, election day was, wow, the market got sent. And then around the time I visited you in southeastern Tennessee, and we saw, a lot of gains. We're literally comparing portfolios, right?
Mhm.
It's like, to me, it's obvious that January 20th, Inauguration Day, forget all this, retesting resistance. I just think even if we have a major bloody week ahead, it's going to be blast off. That's just my own personal opinion. Your thoughts in regards to all the recent developments?
Yeah, I think large investors look to have a sell off. They look to have any moment to sell off because they can sell off and buy at a lower price, and especially if they know an up day is coming. So yeah, we very well could have a little bit more of a sell off. We had some recovery today from sell off several days ago, and yeah, we could have another one. But we do know the 20th is coming, so it's going to recover. Hopefully, the XRP holders are getting used to seeing this fluctuation and are counting on, how all the information that makes XRP so great to cause them to have diamond hands.
That is definitely one way that I look at it as well, which brings us to this next part. We did talk about the whole notion of, those institutional investors. While we want to pay attention to what's going on with whale activity and lockups, if you will, there is something that we need to reference. So, in the reference, do we have anything that we've gathered to show that institutional investors are truly, of course, invested in Ripple XRP? And if so, what can we reference? Well, here it is on the screen. It dates back to last August, and we'll share with you a little bit of what's going on now. So, back in August, this report pounds home some things, and it states here specifically how 20% of institutional investors are in fact invested in Ripple XRP. As we get further into it, it talks about the global research and accounting firm. A lot of you guys are familiar with Ernst & Young, but they had a report that reveals that 20% of those investors, in fact, even hold XRP. So, what about this whole thing of, the report stating that institutional investors are like in Europe, Middle East, Africa? But it says 37% of these investors have already allocated funds to spot cryptocurrencies. Their plans are increasingly leaning towards investing in digital asset funds rather than directly to cryptocurrency holdings. But overall, more than 90% of institutions are optimistic about the long term value, and over 80% consider it a key tool for their portfolio diversification. So, my thing is this highlight that among these particular cryptos, whether it's BTC or ETH, that dominate the institutional portfolios with 98% and 78% of response reporting allocations, you have to keep in mind that XRP comes in at 20%. You were talking about this earlier, Will. What about when XRP, basically speaking, goes way above this 20% mark? And we're going to share with you a key highlight on how we feel as though it will, but nonetheless, your thoughts in regards to higher than 20% for XRP this year,
Yeah.
2025, Will?
This report was, did you say October?
August.
August. So we had September, October, and the important month of November, which what happened in November, we found out who was going to be president. Now, when this article was written, XRP was at 55 cents, 50 cents, 55 cents. It was in that range. We were ranging, languishing sideways, as a friend of mine gives the terminology of when a stock goes sideways, or, in this case, crypto coin, but it was languishing sideways. And that was with 20%. Now, what happened is now the asset is what, 5 times that price? So that can't be 20% now, can it? It's got
No,
to
the
be
way
greater,
no,
you
the
know?
way I look at it is it has to be way, way higher to say the least, which of course brings us to this next part. And in the highlight, it's something new. You guys want something new. What are we referring to? Well, it's this right here. This comes from dlnews.com, and what you see here is XRP seen soaring on hopes of new crypto-friendly SEC hands Ripple huge win. Well, will they? I think they will, but this was posted yesterday, and we're going to get into the nitty gritty of how this bodes well in this new year for Ripple XRP. We're not going to bore you with the history of the SEC case and all that, but in the highlight, Will and I analyze this, and that is what you see. XRP to join Bitcoin? A favorable legal outcome would put XRP among a select group of digital assets, according to this guy, Mr. Guzman. He states this could also mean that XRP Exchange Traded Fund is on the cards. Now, this is an update. If you guys remember, Will and I, literally within the last 24 hours, talked about how Monica Long, president of Ripple, was talking about, hey, it's imminent. In the Bloomberg interview, she talks about how an ETF is absolutely soon, sooner than most think. And now you see this. And why are we bringing this to you? Because look what it says. In this specific article, literally within the last 24 hours, this guy, Mr. Guzman, talks about how, for example, this person, Eric Balka, I can't even pronounce it, Balchunas, predicts a deluge of new crypto ETFs, especially when considering record success of spot Bitcoin ETFs. He reckons XRP should be among the first to receive its approval. Now, we all want to see that for the most part. Some of you guys have reported that you don't want to see an ETF for XRP. And if anything, Will, can we take a brief moment to pause on addressing that? Your key takeaway of why actually Ripple XRP, an ETF, would be a win for XRP.
It's a huge win. First of all, it'll be billions of dollars that will purchase XRP for the ETF. An ETF is not like an ETP. An ETF requires the underlying asset. So that's another lockup. Is it a true lockup? No, but it does put the job of that XRP is in place. It cannot be in two places at once. So when you have possibly billions of XRP being locked up, there again, you're removing them from the pool that is accessible for cross-border payments. There again, you're driving the size that XRP will need to be to accommodate all of the transactions that will be taking place daily. You're reducing that pool, driving the price of that XRP up to facilitate the amount of money that's going to be being transferred back and forth. So it's extremely bullish to have an ETF. And then, as we mentioned in the other video, we'll just have to mention here, XRP, because of that situation, it's unlike BTC. It's not anything like Bitcoin, really not like any other token. XRP has the audience of cross-border payments to be an indiscriminate purchaser of XRP. They don't care about price. They care about moving the money. The institution buys however many it is. They don't care. $10 million worth, whether that's one coin or 10 million coins. They don't care. but they're going to move that much money. So that much money goes in XRP, gets shot around the world and sold. So we have tons of liquidity of buying and selling of huge amounts of XRP in a pool that keeps reducing, smaller and smaller and smaller, which drives the price up, the price that it's going to be when all these switches get flipped. It's going to drive that price way up. So an ETF for XRP is quite different, because that scenario is going to play games with and not make it as controllable of a price mechanism. What price mechanism control? What controlling price mechanism? Puts and calls. If they approve calls and puts on the ETF, a lot of people don't like that, because it puts a way to price control things. It just causes the cause and effect of it. Enhances the ability to do that. But the indiscriminate buyer kind of blows that out of the water. So I don't think we'll have a negative aspect from an ETF for XRP. I think it's only positive.
Very good. Thank you for that, Will. Let's jump back to this real quick. So the other key highlight mentions Ripple's hopes for a bright future. Also from dlnews.com, it says growing adoption of the company's new stablecoin, which we know RLUSD, should strengthen its narrative as a legitimate payment option. Now, I will take a pause on this just really briefly. In that recent interview of Monica Long with Bloomberg, I love the terminology. She didn't say RLUSD. As we gathered numerous times, at least 3 or 4 times, she said in an interview, which was about what, 7, 8 minutes, she says Ripple US dollar, right? Over and over and over again. That is profound, because back to what Will was talking about, how Trump is not going to get behind a CBDC. The thought of a digital Ripple US dollar, well, again, Trump already met with Stuart Alderati and, of course, also Brad Garlinghouse. You better believe they discussed all these things. So for me, interesting to see, again, the terminology and, again, these updates. A little bit more about this before we get more of Will's takeaway. And it's, again, the recent crypto price rally marked about the relationship with, XRP, rekindling those investors' interests. So, quote, given the resurgent retail interest in XRP that we saw in November and December, those positive developments could catalyze another wave of investor attention. And again, geez, man, really, we're talking about retail here? I guess we are. So many people are like focusing only on the whole idea of only getting to previous all-time highs for Ripple. There is so much more to it than just that. And for you, some of you guys, nothing against you, there's always going to be a couple people in the comments, and I've seen this, who state, Will, you keep mentioning this whole thing about, the institutions aren't going to care about, the indiscriminate buyer and so on. Guys, it's not just Will stating this. Believe it or not, David Schwartz has broken this down in regards to if it's 1 XRP, 1,000 XRP, or more. So if anything, Will is quoting David Schwartz, and who better to know about how this is going to work in regards to institutional adoption than David Schwartz. So I think if anything, we're going to monitor this. We're going to pound it home. But my thing also is understanding that, man, oh man, when you see topics just like this about soaring on the hopes of new crypto-friendly SEC, I think he is going to be Paul Atkins, going to be that guy that is going to be a big win moving forward for it all. So again, some of your closing thoughts, whether it is Paul Atkins and some other recent things that you want to get into before we wrap things up, Will.
Yeah, I just see this as, of course, regulatory compliance. People wonder, well, why aren't the institutions buying it now? Well, there's regulations on how much they can hold. They can't just invest people's money in a fluctuating asset. There's constraints on how much they can do. There is no constraint on how much they can buy and use XRP to do transactions. But there's regulatory problems right now. There's not clarity. They don't want to make mistakes or not have a regulatory path, to take all the trash out of the road. They want to get all the trash out of the road, soon as they do, that's where flip of the switch comes in. You know, it's really more a big switchboard because each company will be its own switch thrower, so to speak. But as we've already seen, some banks are already using XRP for every transaction inside the company. They're sitting there ready to go. And so as soon as regulations go, don't you think Bank of America is going to be like, bam, because they're going to be saving that money. The faster you save money, the more money you save, right? They're going to be saving that money in cross-border transactions right away. And how many other banks are, maybe they don't have the interledger protocol to track all their payments and settlements inside the company, but maybe they're sitting there ready. We know 1,700, right? We know more were signed in the last 6 weeks, 7, 8 weeks from when Trump won the election. Has been more signups now, possibly several thousand, 2,500 that are ready to flip a switch. It's going to be an amazing day when we start to see clarity come, especially if we're expecting from patterns, which are measured movements based on the shapes, of the flag, bull flag formations and the bull triangle formations. They can measure the moves, and then they just move that measurement up, and then they say, oh, that's how high it's going to go. They're already expecting a double based on retail. So what's going to happen when the institutions start pulling those switches, to the on position? We're in for a very exciting time.
I couldn't agree with you more. And with that said, you guys, we're going to wrap things up. We really appreciate you guys listening to these outlines. And with that also said, here's your key word if you listen to the entire outline, and that is blue whale. Actually, 2 words. And we'll know that you listened to the entire outline. Really appreciate you guys listening to these outlines. With that said, we'll see you on the next one. If managing your crypto feels like solving a puzzle, it's time to switch to Decent Wallet. So just a few taps, you can manage, track, and secure your crypto with unmatched ease. And here's the best part. Grab your Decent Wallet at a discounted price by using the referral link below. Don't miss out on making your crypto experience smoother and more secure. Hey guys, I just want to point out something real quick in regards to Uphold with you guys. A lot of you guys are familiar with Uphold or heard about it, but if you're brand new to all this and don't have an account, basically there's some benefits. It benefits me, it benefits you. This is a win-win. But one thing I want to point out to really pound it home with Uphold is, for example, XDC. As we know, with XDC, a lot of us have to jump through the hoops of like KuCoin, use a VPN to kind of get around things. This is American-based exchange with Uphold. You don't have to do that. You can get your XDC here, and yeah, not having to deal with that is a great thing. You could also get XRP here. Again, American-based exchange. There's a refer and earn. Bottom line is, if you deposit $100, I get 20, you get 20. It's a win-win for both of us. And of course, that's in BTC, but again, you can swap that to any of these particular altcoins. Another benefit of Uphold is, unlike Coinbase, they're not going to freeze your assets at the height of a bull run. And that's a really, really good thing, right? Nobody wants that. So check it out. Links are in the description if you would like to take advantage of the 20. And yeah, a win for both of us. How cool is that? Links in the description, both on the live and on the recorded. Thanks, guys. Over and out.